If I was asked in the street, what do you do? I said, "Look, I'm an advocate for social justice. I spent close to 40 years in prison here in Maryland's prison for a crime that I didn't commit. And while I was there, I met a lot of men, a lot of women as well, and realized that some of those folks had really, really changed their lives and turned their lives around. They certainly wasn't the person now that they were when the crime was committed. And I just generally felt that they should at least, at the very least, be given a meaningful opportunity for release. And that is, for the most part, what has propelled the work that I do. When I was released from prison in 2006, we began to host a series of events. The person who was, I guess, outreach that was working here at OSI, Monique Dixon, at the time, she had attended 2 of those events. And she said, "Who funds y'all?" And I looked at her, I said, "Who funds us?" I didn't even think people would fund this kind of work because we were advocating toward the system as the status quo. And she said, "Of course." And she asked us to apply to OSI for some funding. Our initial focus was on parole reform. And we were eventually able to get that legislation passed. And this is primarily because of the support of Baltimore OSI. And then next, we were able to get a piece of legislation passed called the Walter Lomax Act. It was designed to make sure that people are adequately compensated after being wrongfully convicted. And why this is important is because when I was released in 2006, it took me 8 years to clear my name. It took me 5 more years to be compensated. And the reason why it took me this long to achieve this is because there was nothing in place to allow an individual to be adequately compensated once they had been released from prison. And there were 3 young men who had been released a few months earlier, and they were compensated at the same time that I was compensated. So the difference between me have to struggle for 13 years to receive something because the Walter Lomax Act was in place, they was able to receive that compensation in a matter of months. And that's why it's so significant. And see, OSI was always there.